What's up everyone, John from Beyond ARTV. It's time for another episode of 7 on Sunday, except it's a very special episode this week, 17 on Sunday, because I felt 7 songs just could not do it justice. We're doing the top 17 hit songs of 2016. Before we start our video today, I want to thank our sponsor, the Melanie Martinez Crybabies Amino app. It's the top 2 links in the description down below, a completely free app. You guys know I've worked with the Amino apps in the past. They have one for Melanie Martinez now. I know you guys are fans of her. You're always asking me in the comments if I've seen her music video, if I've seen that she's maybe releasing an album next year, etc. So if you want to discuss with me over there, ARTV is the username. I've already posted a couple of things on there. You guys might remember that I gave a very positive review. I really enjoyed her album Crybaby that came out in 2015, and obviously this app is a great place to discuss things like fan art and of course upcoming music, her music that's out now, music videos, all that good stuff. It's all over there on the app. It's a great place to interact with a community of fans that love the same artist that you do. They obviously have apps available for other artists as well. If you would like to check those out, obviously you can find those in the App Store. But if you would like to download the Crybabies Amino app, it's the top 2 links in the description down below for iOS and Android. We're going to span 17 different songs, briefly talk about why I like them so much, or what went right, or why they're not guilty pleasures, because I don't believe in guilty pleasures, but songs that maybe some wouldn't think are that great of songs, but ones that stuck with me all year long. So, like I said, keep in mind these are just my choices. There's going to be a Spotify playlist to go along with this. It's linked in the description. Listen along, check it out, see what you think of some of these songs. If you've avoided the pop charts all year and you were kind of wary of what to listen to, a lot of these do steer more towards the kind of crossover hits and stuff that had more substance and heart towards it, because that's what I actually pay attention to on the charts. I look for catchiness and fun, sure, but at the same time, I also want there to be an effort and just something there that's not just thin air, just trying to pull out little tricks to get on the charts for a few weeks. Now, I will say this, in order for these songs to be eligible, they have to have charted on the Hot 100 for at least 5 weeks. That's the main thing that I'm looking for here, and of course they had to have charted in 2016. With that being said, be sure to drop a like on this video, subscribe to Beyond ARTV so you don't miss out on future year-end countdowns and more episodes of 7 on Sunday. Let's kick off the countdown.
And in the naked light I saw 10,000 people, maybe more. People talking without speaking.
I'm sure my number 17 pick is pretty surprising to some, but honestly, I kind of fell for this cover of the Simon & Garfunkel classic, The Sound of Silence by Disturbed. Disturbed, obviously, are not one of my favorite bands. I've tolerated them in the past, but never really considered myself much of a fan. But their lead singer, David Draymond, is really belting it out on this one, and if you can't see the raw power behind this one, then you are missing something. In a year where we got a lot of lazy vocal performances, a lot of whisper rap, auto-tune songs, and just pandering bullshit that just manipulated voices over and over, it was nice to see this deep and powerful booming voice cutting through that fog like a knife with this powerhouse of a cover that they have here that managed to chart on the Hot 100 for a while.
That girl is a real crowd, please. Small world, all her friends know of me. Young bull living like an old geese. Quick release the cash, watch it fall slowly.
I know. Ray Schremer on a best hit songs list for John from ARTV. Are you sure you're not watching the worst of list? No, you're not. They did actually clock in on my worst list with their track over here at number 11. If you missed that video, it'll be linked at the end of this video. But no, I actually do enjoy Black Beetles by the duo Ray Schremer. Rapping, singing, Mike Will made it on the production. You would think that this would line up to be a disaster. But after hearing the song this fall, I honestly couldn't get it out of my head. And that wasn't really much of a bad thing. I enjoy it. I still come back to it. And obviously the Mannequin Challenge brought this thing to the spotlight. They did it at their concert one night, and then everybody was doing it and using the song Black Beetles in the background. Kind of like the new Harlem Shake for a minute there, except not quite as huge. But it did skyrocket their song to number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100. As much as I do feel like this was trying to capitalize on the success of Uptown Funk by Mark Ronson and of course Bruno Mars, 24 Karat Magic is too much fun to just let go to waste. This is one that is meant to be played at a party. It gets everybody dancing out of their shell, just everybody having fun. And it is very braggadocious, but it has a nice funky groove to it. I love the bass work on this thing and the way that there's a foray of instrumentation that really just works its way in. And I like the shouted vocals from Mars as well, basically calling everyone to action. You're going to be singing this one along, shouting into the car with your friends. It's just a shame that it wasn't quite as huge for Bruno Mars as some of his past hits have. It's peaked obviously within the top 5 of the Billboard Hot 100, but I'm hoping we can get a little bit higher than that with the coming weeks.
For all the girls that got dick from Kanye West, if you see him in the streets, give him Kanye's best. Why? They mad they ain't famous. Goddamn. They mad they still nameless. Talk that talk, man. A man in the store trying to try his best, but he just can't seem to get Kanye fresh.
The Rihanna-assisted Famous by Kanye West is next up on my list. I really like that this song has pretty much 2 personalities to it. It starts off slow with just Rihanna singing and crooning here, a little bit more downtrodden, and then it gets into that kind of braggadocious feel once again with Kanye coming in and obviously delivering the controversial Taylor Swift line. He feels like him and Taylor might still have sex. Why? Because he made that bitch famous. And obviously there was a ton of controversy surrounding not only this song, but obviously the video and the portrayal of certain people that came out as well. And now Kanye's going through a lot of personal stuff. It's just been a wild year for him. But Famous is one that did manage to chart for a while. It wasn't a smashing success, I wouldn't say, but it was kind of a slow burner that worked its way up the charts a couple of times, hung around, especially after the video came out. Kanye's presence on this track is really memorable to me, and that's why it's going down as one of the best hit songs of the year for me.
Look what you done. I'm a motherfucking starboy. Look what you done.
If I had $1 for every time I had annoyingly sung, "Look what you've done" to my girlfriend, then I'd probably have enough money to buy her a nice present for being so awful at this point. Starboy is a track that really grew on me. I love this Daft Punk assisted jam, a great groove to it, getting kind of subtle throughout, but it gets really, really good during the chorus. I love the backing vocals on it as well, just the kind of while he is singing, "Look what you've done, I'm a motherfucking Starboy." And yeah, the song's pretty full of itself, but hey, what pop song isn't these days? At least he's killing it on the vocals. His voice sounds great all throughout here, and it's got a great flow and pattern to it. I like how it starts off and finishes. It's great from start to finish. It's very captivating and entertaining. What else could you want from a pop song, especially when so many songs are clearly doing it wrong in this day and age?
I've been trying to fix my pride, but that shit's broken. That shit's broken. Lie, I tried to hide, but now you know it.
I was wondering when Jon Bellion was going to get a hit off of The Human Condition, and here we have Alltime Low. No, not Alltime Low, the band with their song Jon Bellion. It's Jon Bellion with his hit song Alltime Low. I love Bellion's personality. I love how he can go from just down at the dumps, kind of quiet over this beat, to just really just putting it in your face and getting very emotional almost with what he's singing about, talking about being at this all-time low. And like I said in my review of The Human Condition, normally I'm not a sucker for tracks like this. I don't normally go for ones that are very, very monotonous and repetitive, at least on the chorus, but it works here because he mixes it up, adds in some other things to go along with it, some other backing vocals and manipulations and twists here and there. This was one of my favorite songs on the LP. I'm glad to see it doing so well, working its way up the charts. And come on, it's the only hit song of the year that says masturbate in it at some point. I mean, we've got to give it props, at least for that.
Something about you makes me feel like a dangerous woman. Something about you.
A lot of established pop artists really mixed up their flow this year. Ariana Grande is another one that falls into that category. I did not expect the guitar on this track, the electric guitar just searing and burning all throughout this track. There's even a little solo towards the end of it, right on the bridge, which sounds fantastic. Ariana Grande over this kind of looming feel, just very like airy and almost like she's in a dark haze somewhere, maybe an underground club in the 90s. I like getting that vibe from a track. Dangerous Woman was the leadoff single and the title track from her most recent album, and this one did peak inside of the top 10. I wish it had been a little bit more relevant, stayed around a little bit longer because we need more guitar on the radio. Grande's vocals on this were fantastic. If you have not seen the a cappella version, I highly recommend it. If you are not convinced yet, just listening to the regular standard edition of the track, I think that'll really show off her talent and what she can do with her voice right there.
So we'll piss off the neighbors in the place that feels the tears, the place you lose your fears, yeah, reckless behavior, a place that is so pure, so dirty and rough.
I'd probably be just a little bit ashamed to admit how many times I played this song in Spotify throughout the year, but number 10, we have Pillow Talk by former One Direction member Zayn. He actually hit number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100 with this, and One Direction never did that. They only hit number 2. I mean, they had plenty of top 10 hits in the US, and obviously in the UK as well, but in the US, they never hit number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100. So that had to feel pretty good for Zayn, who was already seeming a little bit smug, but that didn't really matter. He actually came through with some solid tracks on Mind of Mine, his debut album. It was a little bit lengthy overall, but Pillow Talk was easily the biggest standout for me. I love the energy on this one. The music video for it sucks if you just listen to the audio and really take it in that way. I think it's a lot more meaningful. I don't really care for all the visuals that went along with that one. In fact, I'd probably say it was one of my least favorite music videos of the year, but for the song itself, I like what's going on here. He's describing this passionate love affair that he has, and obviously pissing off the neighbors, and the pillow talk the next morning, and everything that's going on between these two. There's just a fire and there's a chemistry, and I think Zayn's voice really hits all of the perfect notes here, and I like the instrumentation on the track. Everything comes together for just a big, fiery song that I can really get behind.
I took a pill in Ibiza to show Avicii I was cool. And when I finally got sober, felt 10 years older, but fuck it, it was something to do. I'm living out in LA. I drive a sports car just to prove I'm a real big baller, cause I made $1 million and I spend it on girls and shoes.
Obviously, we're talking about the Sieb remix here because the original, white guy with acoustic guitar, boring. They speed it up just a little bit, add in those banging beats, and we've got a great remix on our hands. Normally, I'm not a huge fan of the remixes, but this one knew exactly what to do. I heard a couple of great remixes to kick off the year, and this was one of them. It gave me faith in remixes once again, that they could actually add something more to the song instead of just detracting from its moral integrity. And here with I Took a Pill in Ibiza, we see a very depressing subject where Mike Posner is talking about being a washed up pop star that can't commit to girls, blames work, tries to get out of things, can't interact in society, blew all of his money on girls and shoes, he sings on this one. Gets along with old timers because his name is a reminder of a song that people forgot. Holy shit.
Send my love to your new lover. Treat her better. We gotta let go of all of our goals. We both know we ain't kids no more. Send my love to your new lover.
It's a shame that Adele didn't get more hit songs off of 25 like she did with 21. Obviously, Rolling in the Deep, Set Fire to the Rain, you could not get away from the songs on that record. But here, I feel like she's been a bit more escapable. Yes, a ton of people bought the album itself, but she only had one #1 hit off of this, and that was Hello. And she barely scraped by with a top 10 hit, peaking at number 10 on the Hot 100 with her track Send My Love to Your New Lover. The Max Martin assisted jam has a great stomp clap beat on it, really catchy. Pretty much everything you could want in a pop song. It's smart, it's intelligent, it knows what it wants to do. It's telling the story about a former flame of Adele's, and she's basically saying sarcastic and bitingly, like, send my love to your new lover, you know, pass along my warm regards, like a middle finger. Basically, I don't give a fuck about where you are now, what you're doing, but you know, I hope that you treat her better than you treated me because you were an asshole to me. But she says it with a smile, so it's all okay.
You don't know the half of the abuse.
I'll admit that I got pretty burned out on this song, but that does not change the fact that it is a great one. I love this track. I think that once I take about maybe 2 or 3 months off from listening to it, then I'll be okay with it completely once again, but I didn't let it affect my positioning for it on this year-end list here. It clocks in at number 7. Heathens is one where he's basically addressing their fan base, it seems, and of course it was made for Suicide Squad, so it fits with that as well, but he worked in talking about the clique, obviously. The way that the keys and the deep deep bass levels mixed with Josh Dunn's drumming sound fantastic here, and I love the backing vocals that are really just weird. It kind of fits with the whole Suicide Squad thing. They're basically playing alongside what he's singing. You never know the murderer sitting next to you. You can also hear like a female or else high-pitched voice going alongside it in the background. And of course, you've got that big breakdown where they say, "Watch it," and it just kicks back into that fury of drums. And of course, just a huge meltdown on the track. It's really chaotic, noisy at the end, but I love it.
I'm only human, can't you see? I made a mistake. Please just look me in my face. Tell me everything's okay. 'Cause I got it. Ooh, never be like you.
Mom and Pop Records turned EDM star Flume had a great year, and mainly because of this track really taking off for him. Never Be Like You with Kai on the vocals, a great female presence. I really feel like she did a great job in adding the emotion with what he was doing with these kind of slurring beats. I like how they kind of switched back and forth and added a sense of like urgency, but also confusion and not knowing exactly what to do. Clearly, this is telling us a story of someone who's going through turmoil in their life, trying to make a decision on what to do about a lover. Maybe they've been blamed for this mistake. I'm only human, can't you see? I made a mistake, and not knowing what their next move is. I'll never be as good as you are, but still at the same time it seems like they want to at least get their approval or respect. It's a nice heartfelt jam, and I really appreciate what it did for EDM this year, and a bunch of senseless mess that I was hearing all over the place, scattered on radio and in Spotify playlists. This was a breath of fresh air.
Talk to me, baby. I'm going up the stairs, sweet, sweet baby. Whoa. Let's lose our minds and go fucking crazy.
Keep on hoping we'll be cake by the ocean.
And speaking of fresh air, we have a very, very fun song that peaked early in the year. I love Cake by the Ocean. This is one that's all about sex. Apparently it was supposed to be like, you know, sex on the beach, cake by the ocean, and it became a joke that they left in. I love how spirited and just fun this song is. That's what's missing from pop radio. A big hook, something you can sing along to. Joe Jonas does a great job on this one alongside these great guitars. I think the bass on it was really, really catchy and funky as well. A nice groove to it. And the drum patterns from Jack Lawless. Just fantastic all around. I love this song. I played it all year long, and especially this fall, I've been coming back to it even more, so it's back on rotation.
Hold up, they don't love you like I love you. Slow down, they don't love you like I love you. Back up, they don't love you like I love you. Step down, they don't love you like I love you.
Hold up, because Beyonce's coming in at number 4 with her track called, Hold Up, if you didn't guess that already. Hold Up is one that I thoroughly enjoyed, and I actually didn't realize that it had charted for as long as it had, and I was actually pleasantly surprised by that. It actually charted for, I think, about 10 weeks in total, and it's one that lingered around because of the success of Lemonade, but I'm glad that it did. It made it eligible for this list, and it did get certified gold in the US. Hold Up is one that really sees Beyonce using this interpolation of Maps by the Yeah Yeah Yeahs, also a sample of Turn My Swag On by Soulja Boy, and other elements as well. It's a song that borrowed from others, but did it in a really, really fascinating way. Obviously, she's singing Hold Up, They Don't Love You Like I Love You. Obviously, that's what was taken from Maps by the Yeah Yeah Yeahs. I love that song. I heard it and I was like, this sounds familiar, and then I looked into it and I was like, you know what? That makes complete sense. Hold Up, she's basically crying out to her husband Jay-Z. There's a narrative going on all throughout this album, and obviously she's trying to feel better about herself, but at the same time she's like, what happened here? Are we just gonna try and sweep this under the rug? Are we gonna talk about it? Because I am mad, I'm sad, I'm feeling all sorts of things. Let's put an end to this. Hold Up captures this really nice feel that I did not expect from Beyonce. It's a very quiet track in a way. It kind of goes back and forth with this shuffled and minimal beat, but it works its way into your heart and your eardrums, and it doesn't let go.
Deep in my bones, I can feel you. Take me back to a time only we knew how to wait. We could waste a night with an old film, smoke a little weed on the couch in the back room, how to wait.
Roses, 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 Roses featuring Roses by the Chainsmokers. It peaked earlier this year inside the top 10 on the Hot 100, and this song is fascinating to me. I love the beat every single time. I'm playing it in my head. I'm like doing along with it the little synth parts and the stuttered I'm by no means a Chainsmokers fanboy, but they did a great job. They killed it on this one. Honestly, fantastic production that really just AIDS, the singer on this one. Roses sounds very smooth as she's singing about this person that she wants to be with. Basically, come hang out with me, relax, let's put all the bullshit aside, come back in the back room, smoke a little weed, and let's just fade away into this other life. And I love the key progression on this one before we get to the drop. The drop is excellent on it as well. I could listen to it over and over again. It's just something that goes down really, really smooth, and a smarter song in EDM that I feel like we need more of, just like Never Be Like You. We're almost to the top of the list, ladies and gentlemen, but before we get to the number 1 spot, we have clocking in at number 2, No Problem by Chance the Rapper, an independent artist, still surprisingly. Obviously, he's talking about on this song, if one more label try and stop me, so I don't think he's trying to get signed anytime soon. Along with Chance, we obviously have the duo of Lil Wayne and 2 Chainz at this point. On this track, No Problem, I love the kind of interpolation and play that they have with this gospel feel. Obviously, Chance was doing that on his coloring book mixtape, and I really did think that was pretty solid. I didn't get a ton of time with that mixtape. I do plan on coming back to it as one of those albums that I missed in 2016 that I really want to get my ears on a little bit more, but No Problem instantly stood out to me. I saw this as being something that could be a hit, and now, to no surprise, it's working its way up the charts at the end of the year, and it has been lingering for a little while, but finally it's getting the attention that it deserves. I love the hook on this thing. It's got some auto-tune on the voice, but it sounds good. It's done in good taste here. And obviously Lil Wayne and 2 Chainz come in with surprisingly interesting flows. I would say Lil Wayne being the less interesting of the two, I should say. I almost said the more interesting. If Lil Wayne's the most interesting thing on the song, you're probably doomed. Chance the Rapper is the big draw here. The hook on this thing is fantastic. I love Chance's first verse on it. Sounds great over that gospel style beat. It's the only thing that I've heard in rap music that sounded this unique that was getting played a lot on the radio. Obviously, we've got stuff like Kendrick that's different as well, and that's not really like mainstream friendly or accessible, I don't feel like, and not that No Problem is. It's just kind of cool to see it taking off. I would love to see Kendrick get played on the radio a little bit more, but sadly we haven't really seen that since the Good Kid, Mad City days. You can thank the NFL and the Super Bowl for this one being on my list. It's a hit song because it got some exposure there and then managed to hang around for a little while. It did peak at number 1 on the alternative songs chart, but then crossed over to be inside of the top 15 after the Super Bowl. And then it stuck around, like I said, and I like that. It's a very, very pleasant song. In fact, one of my favorites that Coldplay have done in a long time. It's got a disco-dipped flavor to it. Great guitar line. They kind of just line this thing all throughout. I like the drumming on it and the bass work as well. Chris Martin sounds fantastic as he just flows all throughout this effervescent and very, very fun and down-to-earth jam. I like it because he's basically saying, come with me, live life, see the good and the color in life, and let's go places. I hope you guys enjoyed watching my countdown of the top 17 hit songs of 2016. Keep in mind these were all just my choices, so let me know about yours in the comment section down below. Don't forget to check out our sponsor, the Melanie Martinez Crybabies Amino app. It's the top 2 links in the description down below, available on iPhone and Android as well. Be sure to smash the like button on this video and subscribe to the channel because friends don't let friends go unsubscribed. If you would like to see my worst songs of the year list, it's right here, or all of my year-end playlist, you can click right here. All of my social media is linked in the description, and other than that, I will see you guys very soon right here on Beyond ARTV.